The Michigan National Council of Jewish Women is launching a major fundraising campaign to raise $500,000 to sustain and secure the future of its long-running Kosher Meals on Wheels program that was originally established back in 1973. The program delivers approximately 25,000 kosher meals annually, serving as a lifeline for homebound adults aged 60 and older throughout the West Bloomfield area and surrounding communities. Here to tell us more about what's available in Greater West Bloomfield is Amy Zeskind, the president of the Michigan National Council of Jewish Women. Amy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, this is such a great program that's happening in West Bloomfield, providing so much for the residents. What makes this program especially vital for seniors in the West Bloomfield community?
You know, it is a lifeline for them because the people that are benefiting from the program are people that are homebound and their families are not necessarily nearby. And so by us delivering meals to them 5 days a week, they are getting a touch point not only of food, nutritious, delicious food, but also a human to interact with them, to make sure that they are okay, and to check in with them.
That's right. It's providing way more than just great food for these residents, but it sounds like it's also providing emotional and social well-being for these participants as well. Is that correct?
It's exactly correct. I mean, we cannot just deliver a meal and drop it off at the door. We have to see the participant. We have to know that they are okay, that they are receiving the food. And so our drivers, for example, they come daily to go see these participants. So they know, oh, this person seems a little different today, or so-and-so could maybe use a little extra attention today. And then those drivers can go back to the care management team and say, hey, can you give an extra check-in to so-and-so? Or contact the family and say, I think you really need to reach out to your family member and check in with them today.
That's amazing that they're working together to really keep an eye on everybody in the community, looking out for these seniors, making sure that they're being cared for. Now, a lot of people reap the benefits of this program. Can you describe the typical experience for someone receiving meals through this Meals on Wheels program?
Sure. I mean, you can't just magically have meals delivered. We need to know about you, right? So they would reach out to the care management team, which is managed by Jewish Family Service. And they would then say, here's what your needs are, here's what your meal preferences are, here's how long you think you might be on the program. And then that process is a very quick process. And then our meals start getting delivered daily, Monday through Friday. So I can go into very specific details, or that's the general, overview of it.
Sounds like a really thorough process for everybody to get these meals. And about these meals themselves, I'd imagine it sounds like the quality of these meals is top notch for the residents, but what kind of meals can they typically expect in terms of variety?
So they are given a menu every month, and they can say, you know what, I love this meal, I'm going to take it, or you know what, that's not really my thing, so I'm not going to take it. So they have some say in there. We obviously take into consideration food allergies, or if you're a vegetarian, and the meals are incredible. Now, it is a federally funded program, and so we are required to provide a very balanced meal as well. So it is going to have the right balance of proteins and fats and fruits and vegetables and from a variety of sources, so you're not just getting the same meal every single day.
That's good, providing a little bit of variety for everybody, but making sure that all the major food groups are represented in these meals, exactly what residents want to have. Now, I'd imagine when it comes to a service like this one, these really come in handy, especially maybe for some short-term situations that maybe some residents might be dealing with. What kinds of short-term situations might lead someone to rely on this service?
That's right. There are a variety of reasons, but the main one we see is I'm having a surgery coming up, and I know I'm not going to be able to get out and get my own meals. And I could really rely on this for a short-term stint, whether it's a few weeks, a few months. And we're there for that. We're there for that just as much as we are for those who need it, daily for forever and ever.
For those just joining us on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Amy Zeskind, the president of the Michigan National Council of Jewish Women, talking with me about their Meals on Wheels program that was established all the way back in 1973, and their major fundraising campaign to raise $500,000 to sustain the future of this program. Now, Amy, $500,000, what inspired the launch of this fundraising campaign at this time?
Well, a few things. One, the program has obviously been going on, like you said, since 1973. We do rely heavily on federal funding, and that is not a guaranteed funding, as we have learned in the last few years, that is not guaranteed, and never it was a guaranteed anyway. But in the last year and a half, it's really been made very clear that we cannot count on that. And so we knowing that this is an essential service for our community, for Oakland County, but as you're talking about West Bloomfield,
Mhm.
it needs to be able to be sustainable. We need to make sure that this program exists, whether one participant wants it or thousands of participants want it. We want to make sure that there's no barrier to somebody receiving kosher meals on wheels.
That's right, and it's important that we get the message about programs like this out in the open for people to become aware of it and to help support it, which we absolutely want to make happen. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the Meals on Wheels Perpetuity Fund, which how does that change, how will that change the long-term sustainability of the program?
Thank you for asking. So the program costs hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to run. And so whether you're getting that money from federal funding, from grants, from private donations, all of those sources are incredible. With a $500,000 perpetuity fund, we are saying we've got you covered for the long run. Because although the program costs hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, we are still assuming we're going to get some of that other funding. And so this is that cushion that we will need to make sure that regardless of where that funding is coming from, people can still receive these meals.
That's amazing. Glad you guys are really thinking of everything to make sure that everything is secure and you're helping as many people as possible. And of course, a lot of this help comes from partnerships, especially with the Jewish Family Service of Metro Detroit. How does that partnership help enhance the level of care that patients receive or that participants receive?
Yes, we are really lucky because they have a team of care management professionals. They do all of the intake for us. So they are a true partner for us. They make sure that the client is in need of the program and that they are matched with the program in a timely manner so that we can quickly get these meals out. They make sure that if our volunteers go out into the field and see that somebody is really struggling today or they aren't answering the door at all, that we can immediately get in touch with Jewish Family Service who can reach out and get the appropriate help that they need. They also do the background check for our volunteers. And so they are incredibly helpful for us.
They absolutely sound helpful. Now, as we were talking about earlier, volunteers and especially people becoming aware of services like this play a huge role in helping to maintain that sustainability. What role do volunteers play and what do they often take away from the experience of helping you guys?
You know, it's funny you say that because as all of us who volunteer know, we are trying to provide a service to the community and we wind up usually getting the most out of it as the volunteer. Our volunteers can do anything from packing the food, which we require 3 to 4 volunteers a day just to pack the food up, and then 11 additional volunteers minimum a day to go on those 11 different routes needed to deliver the meals. So that's where the volunteers come in, and we are always in need of volunteers. So please reach out to us if you are interested. And like I said before, when they are going out to meet with the clients, they are the face to, they might be the only face that that client sees all day. And they're also the direct link from that face to case management if they need it.
That's great. All the great ways that volunteers can help to make a difference with this program. Amy, I got a couple more questions before we wrap things up. How can people in West Bloomfield get involved, whether through donations, volunteering, or spreading awareness for this program?
I really appreciate you asking that. So through our website, ncjwmi.org, they can make donations, which are incredibly helpful. Any denomination donation goes directly back into the community. So it is incredibly appreciated and vital. If you want to be a large donor, a small donor, we will take anything. As far as the volunteer component, if you want to volunteer, you can reach out to Jewish Family Service and they will do your background check and get you all set up with a schedule with our coordinators so that you can get on that schedule right away. And then as far as spreading awareness. If you know somebody that could utilize kosher Meals on Wheels, whether it is for a short-term stint or a lifelong need, please do not hesitate, again, to reach out to Jewish Family Service, who will have a care manager talk to you and figure out how we can best help you.
I'd also like to remind everybody that April is National Volunteer Month, so this is the time to absolutely get into action and to be helping out programs like this one. Amy, I want to thank you so much for joining us today on the program. Last question, especially with your role with the service, what does it mean to you to see all of this help throughout the community and all of the difference that this program has had?
I mean, we are one community. So this happens to be Kosher Meals on Wheels, but we are nothing if we do not support our entire community, whether it is the youth, whether it is the elderly, anybody in between. And so for this to provide one portion of support for the community just makes the entire community stronger. And I'm very grateful that we have all the support that we do and the passionate volunteers to make this happen. And the donations, obviously, because it all builds together. So we really appreciate it. And it is a true partnership with the whole community.
That's right. And to see the amount of impact that this program has had on a day-to-day basis and all of the people it's helped, I mean, it's truly inspiring. Amy, thank you so much for joining us today here on The Splash Live.
Thank you for having me. We really appreciate it.